We are now pleased to hear from respected parliamentary from Mexico, who has been actively engaged in public service and legislative leadership. May I invite the Honorable Member of Mexico, Ms. Palamo Ugarte.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Honorable guests, distinguished experts, representatives of international institutions, and colleagues. It is an honor to address this forum in a city that symbolizes multilateralism, dialogue, and the enduring commitment of the international community to the protection of human dignity. I sincerely thank the Tibet Bureau for inviting me to this 6th Geneva Forum and for creating a space where evidence, international law, and lived experience meet. Human rights are not granted by power, nor suspended by convenience. They are universal obligations, freely undertaken by states and measured not by rhetoric, but by practice. When freedom of religion or belief is restricted, cultural rights are weakened. When language and education are controlled, family life and identity suffer. When expression is silenced, accountability erodes. This interconnectedness is precisely why the international human rights framework exists, and why those of us entrusted with public responsibility have an ethical and political obligation to defend, promote, and uphold human rights at home and in the international arena. Today, the Forum rightly focuses on regions under the governance of the People's Republic of China, including Tibet, Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia, Hong Kong, and others. Across these regions, UN special procedures have documented consistent patterns: shrinking civic space, extensive surveillance, administrative control over cultural and religious life, and restrictions on peaceful expression. As a committed Christian, I understand the importance of religious freedom for the flourishing of societies. But this conviction is not uniquely Christian. It is reflected in international human rights law, which protects freedom of religion or belief, precisely because pluralism, conscience, and dignity are foundations of peaceful coexistence. From that perspective, what is at stake in Tibet is autonomy of conscience. When a state claims authority to regulate religious belief or to control spiritual institutions, it violates a core human right. In this context, the international community is aware of a well-documented case concerning the recognition of a religious successor in Tibet that was rejected by state authorities. The child identified through that religious process subsequently disappeared and has not been seen publicly since, while an alternative figure was installed through an imposed procedure. I strongly believe that religious succession must be determined by religious communities themselves, free from political coercion. Anything less empties religious freedom of its meaning. Beyond religion and culture, Tibet also matters because of its global environmental significance. Often described as the third pole, the Tibetan Plateau is the largest and highest plateau on Earth. It contains the greatest reserve of ice outside the polar regions and is the source of Asia's major rivers, supporting the lives and livelihoods of more than 1 billion people downstream, as it was mentioned here before. Policies affecting Tibet's environment are issues of climate stability, water security, and intergenerational justice. Environmental degradation in Tibet does not stop at borders. From Mexico, we recognize that Tibetan representatives have consistently articulated peaceful and non-violent proposals for resolving their situation. Most notably, the Middle Way approach seeks genuine autonomy for Tibetans within the framework of the People's Republic of China, explicitly rejecting independence and emphasizing dialogue, mutual benefit, and respect for China's territorial integrity. This approach demonstrates a sustained commitment to nonviolence, principled pragmatism, and engagement, values fully aligned with the purposes of the United Nations. As a legislator, I speak with humility as well as conviction. My own country, Mexico, has made significant progress in the constitutional recognition of human rights. Yet we continue to face serious challenges in implementation, including violence, disappearances, and risks faced by journalists and human rights defenders. This is precisely why international mechanisms matter. Oversight, dialogue, and cooperation do not weaken sovereignty, but strengthen legitimacy. As parliamentarians, we have a particular responsibility in this regard, to legislate in line with international commitments, to oversee executive power, and to give voice to those who are too often unheard. As Secretary of the Human Rights Commission of the Mexican Chamber of Deputies, I reaffirm my commitment to promoting legal frameworks that strengthen the protection of human rights, to fostering international dialogue, and to speaking out whenever these rights are threatened, regardless of where such violations occur. Defending human rights requires coherence, courage, and perseverance. Silence in the face of documented human rights violations is never neutral. Forums such as this one play a vital role in ensuring that evidence informs policy, that law guides diplomacy, and that human dignity remains at the center of international engagement. May our discussions here today contribute to that shared responsibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Ugarte.